So my bamboo printer's been playing up heaps, and I'm pretty sure it's just a mix of switching between ABS and PLA. Printing with ABS inside this thing makes the biggest mess. There's just black shit everywhere when I'm printing black. The threaded rods are just covered. I mean, I've cleaned them again twice today. Like, absolutely covered. Ignore the shit on the bottom. It's just, the dust and stuff it generates just makes a huge mess. Like, look at this. That's from today, cleaning off the threaded rods and re-lubricating them. Anyway, I am currently printing, sorry about the fast movement, this, which is a new cover plate for the front of my case. It's got a hole in the middle and a slot on the side. I'm going to show you why I'm printing this. So a long time ago, for Sam, I bought this touchscreen for the Raspberry Pi. Hello, Sion. And it's just been sitting here because I ended up not using it for Sam, and I didn't need a screen at all for Sam in the end. And it's just been sitting here waiting for a project, or now I've got a project. So I've just drilled a hole in here temporarily. I mean, I could have just drilled lots of holes in here, but I want something a bit more robust. So what I did was I've printed it's a bit glary, sorry. Printed, can't block the light, sorry. A 3D custom Visa mount for the back of this that attaches through some creativity to this gimbal-y thing that comes with my DSLR camera mount stuff that I use for my streams. I've got some spare ones for setting up another camera, which I haven't done yet. And so I kind of got everything going together, and then that's just screwed on the back, just here for the moment, to connect to a Raspberry Pi, which has actually been set up now. There's a SD card in there that will be running, well, all it's going to be doing is presenting a web page. The Milo, the firmware that it uses, literally presents itself as a web page, and you just control it from that. So you can actually run it natively as an app, but I don't need to. So I need to bring power in here. I need 2 lots of Raspberry Pi USB-C power, one for the Pi and one for the screen. The screen's actually got 3 connectors. So I've got HDMI, so it's mini HDMI, and then USB-C. That one there is for PD, so for power, and this one here is for the touch. So they need to route through. That's what that gap I've got on the thing. They'll go through here. I've ordered from Amazon some 90-degree angled USB-C and a 90-degree angled, actually it's not 90, it'll swap around and go backwards, and then the cable has to come out and go through here. Not gonna be a lot of room there, but it's the only one I could get that was facing the right way, because the mini HDMI, normally the 90 degrees go this way, and I don't want it sticking out from the screen. Ideally what I'm trying to avoid is cables coming out here and having to wrap around. So they're coming tomorrow, Amazon. This will be printed, I'll swap this out, and so I'll have my touchscreen here that I'll be able to control Moo. I shouldn't have called him Moo, should have called him Milo. Anyway, so it's a pretty small screen. I mean, it runs 1080p, and it looks pretty crisp. I've set it up now for 720. Just want to see how much UI I can fit, because the 1080p is a bit small on the screen. And I can always get a new screen. It's Visa mount now, so I can just get a bigger one if I need to. No problem with the door closing, because it's a sliding door, and the handle is lower. So if I push that, so as you can see the door, I still haven't taken the cover off. The door closes nicely. And yeah, so I could actually get a bigger screen here, not a problem. Oh, why is that jammed? I've got a problem up here. I need to, it will come out, it'll come loose. Okay, I'll fix that later. I can't do it one hand. So anyway, that's what I've been working on. I mean, this is all working. I still haven't put any lighting in. Jake was going to publish his disco light thing. You can buy what's called disco lights from Amazon. They're just RGB LED lighting. He's got a mod where you can attach them inside. He's got attaching mechanisms, and then you wire them directly into the controller board here on some spare I/O, and the lights turn on and off when you power everything up and down, so it's not separate power. Unfortunately, he had a work accident the other day. He was in the ER. He was actually watching my stream on Wednesday morning from the ER, which is pretty crazy. So I don't know when he's going to publish those, and my fallback was always to stick some 12 volt RGB LED lighting in here, RGBW, and just use the W. And so I might still do that because there's no lighting inside, a bit dark. But this is working. Like, this is, I could be using this. And this morning, finally, my missing stock has turned up. So stupid fast horse crappy deliverers here. Anyway, so these are aluminium bars. These are a 4mm by, these ones are 80 wide, 500 long, so I can cut them up. And then these are 4x60, and it's actually 60 I needed. So if I do the 80s, I have to do the, I have to cut around it and do the tabs and stuff. But if I don't, for this first thing, I've got the 60s as well, which is the correct width, so I can just cut the edges. Anyway, I need to cut this stock down somehow. But that's turned up finally. All my end mills have turned up, all my air stuff that I bought. I don't know how I'm going to configure it all yet. And then what I've also, I can't open this. Hang on, let me see if I can yank it hard. Oh, there we go. I don't know why it's doing that. I'll have to fix it. The other thing I've bought is, so the round LED lights that I bought, that I was using, that I was going to use on Otis, they're 12 volt, they're PWM'd automatically. You just give them power and you can switch it between like a yellowy light or a white light. The ones I've got here aren't, diameter wise isn't wide enough for here, but I've ordered some that are coming hopefully next week, maybe the week after. For some reason it's 2-week delivery, and they should fit around here. I'll have to make a 3D bracket for it. So I'm going to mount them. I don't know how hot this will get, but I need to mount something here, and then I'll have a 12 volt LED ring that'll light up the work area from under here, which I think will be really cool. And I'll just have to wire them back somehow, build some brackets or something, and they'll have to wire all the way through and all the way back to a power supply outside. So I need a lot of power coming in now in here. I'm going to, once that print's done, reprint this one here. It's just loose in here anyway. I haven't screwed the side ones in. And I need to put some holes in it so I can feed power through. So what I might do actually is, it's not nice, but I might do a big hole and just put a power board in here. And then the power board can have the 2 Raspberry Pi adapters, and then a 12 volt adapter for the other light. And then, you know, I can plug in my other 12 volt RGB lighting, RGBW lighting, and just do them all on a power board rather than trying to get fancy and take the AC mains here and wire shit up there. That's just crazy. But yeah, it's, I don't know where I'm going to put it still. I'll probably end up just putting it here and facing that way towards the door, so the back will be facing towards me now. I think I might just end up doing that. I don't know. Oh, it's a long project. It really is, but I want to close it all up. I want to finish it. And the only way to finish it is to get all this done. I don't want to like put the cover on or anything. I have started sticking the bits of rubber, the foam that was supposed to be on all these things. I've done that one anyway. I have to take all the panels off, every single panel, and stick the foam on this stuff that I left off, unfortunately, when I was assembling it all. So that helps with the sound deadening. It'll make it much quieter. Maybe I don't need that, I don't know. It's not like I'm running into my bedroom, so if it's loud, it's loud. But I've got that stuff anyway. It's just a lot of screws to take it off. Like, you know, if I look at that top panel here, so I have to take, it won't slide in and out, especially with the rubber. Well, get in focus. So I have to take that, and that, just to get that panel out. Like that's a lot of screws to take out and then screw back in again. And then just down the bottom and the back and the top. Anyway, there's a lot of bits to do. Yeah, and I had another idea. I don't know why anyone hasn't done this yet. So I'm thinking of, so this has got the angle stuff going down and it goes into this channel here. And the channel isn't actually screwed into anything. I don't believe I screwed this. Maybe I did. Anyway, I had an idea that what's if this was taken out and instead there was a chute that went through the table with a bucket underneath. So if I had just a bucket to collect all the crap and it could all just fall through, and rather than having to work out how to, even if it does all go into the channel, like how am I going to get it all out, especially when there's a machine sitting on there. So yeah, I'm going to have a play with that at some point. I don't know how, because I'm going to have to lift all this up to get underneath there, and I'm going to have to drill up through the table, not only the table and the piece of wood, like, yeah. And it could just be an open hole that with the bucket just collects everything. Anyway, lots of ideas. I'll get there eventually, I guess. But I mean, it does look cool, sure. But yeah, a lot of time and work's gone into this. Hey, it's me. What a mess. Disaster zone in here. I'm just juggling so many things at the moment that I'm just leaving shit everywhere. Like I've got Reflow Master Pros all over my desk here that they've been cleaned, assembled, flashed, whatever, but they need to have screens attached and retested and put in their storage boxes, like whatever. I've got nuts and bolts and screws everywhere. I've got I'll call these failed, new case prints for my tiny watch, my P7. I tried printing these in ABS and they're just not a good print quality. And I don't know why. I mean, just my printer, I'm having a lot of problems with the printer. As you saw from the start video, I didn't really even go into it, but I had like 7 failed prints today before I even got a first print out of it. These printed last night, they were just sitting there. And I don't know if you can see, there's just really bad, so we can get the right angle. They're just not smooth, like it's like layer issues. But on that side, also on that side, definitely not, like I would definitely not ship that. I can't ship that. So, and then like to give you context, that's PLA, beautifully smooth, right? And it's not just the sides, the support material and everything. Like when I take the supports off, it's just left crap on the corner. It's black. I can't show you black. Anyway, it's just left crap on the corners everywhere. I only did 6 of them. Not a big deal, but not happy with that at all. But I do have the final design of the cases done. I sent one to Nat yesterday, so he's getting the first P7 tiny watch with haptics. So it's new PCB, new screen, new case, and so the main differences with the case is a little bit thicker, unfortunately, but it's got bigger buttons, and the buttons don't rattle around anymore like they used to, um, and they got less throw on them to push, and there's the screw at the back that holds the case together, so the case just can't fly apart. And the extra room means there's more room inside for a bigger battery, and I've got a bigger battery in here. But the new boards, you need to solder the battery wires down. There's no connector anymore. For several reasons. Firstly, the connector was too big. Like it just took a chunk of height that the battery getting a bigger battery really needed. But more so, the batteries that come with the connectors anyway have got really long wires. I mean, long's a relative term, but that, like, if you want to connect it in, like it's got to wrap around somewhere, and so it's either wrapping on this side, causing more height, or it's wrapping on the side, getting in the way. Some of the other batteries come with even longer cables for the size battery, and it's a real challenge. So now you just cut them and solder them down where you need to put them, and you don't have the cable in the way and whatever. And big deal, the battery's permanently soldered to the board, but you can always desolder it, take it off. Um, it's not a finished product that I'm shipping that someone has to then go and add their own battery. I wish I could ship batteries, I can't. But the boards come with the haptic motor soldered on, um, and there's a place to attach it to the case, but I'm not attaching it when I ship it. I'll let people attach. There's two places you can put it. Um, one's harder to one's harder to get in place when you're trying to close it all up, but it's literally would get stuck directly to the back, inside back. So it's when it's on your wrist, it's actually against your wrist buzzing. The other place is actually sitting higher up. There's a little place for it there on both sides, like a half circle that it sits in. You can absolutely still feel it when it's buzzing. Like there's no issue with it, but it is better inside in the corner. But the wires are really short, and so if I stick it down, you can't get the watch apart to get a battery in because the wires are so short. Anyway, so there's that. Um, I have to admit, I procrastinated on sending my final Touch Me boards to get done by JLC. I only actually submitted them Wednesday afternoon. They were ready on Monday, but I was umming and ahhing. I was procrastinating. Because in the same order, I had my new Pro S3 boards, both the UFL and normal. I've done a revision change. They're a P9 now. They're identical board, identical feature, but I've removed the that ST. I can't remember the name of the chip. The TBS, the three. The SOT 666 TBS. It's given me, so since the day I started using it, it's given me the worst rework issues. For some reason, the quality control on these chips are just terrible from ST because I get, I mean, there. But you'll be able to see it anyway. So it's a SOT 666. It's really, really tiny. It's right next to the USB connector. You can't even see it in there. You can't see it. It's got little tiny feet, little legs, and the legs that they're not whatever they're called, the ones that come down. They're just flat underneath. But I get chips where the pins where some of them are lifted up. So there'll be like one lifted up or another lifted up, and so there'll be a leg that isn't soldered properly because it's been lifted, and it happens one out of every 4 or 5 chips, and it's infuriating. It's been happening since, like, I'm on my third reel of these, and they're genuine ST parts, and they're just terrible. I don't know what it is, but I've got stacks to rework. So I did a run of 180. I mean, there's a couple of other things in here. I did a run of 180 boards the other day, and all of these Pro S3s, they all have to be hot plated, and they need to fix, either remove and replace, or try to fix, shove down these ICs on them. And I hate it. It's really frustrating. So I finally caved and I redid the boards, and I have taken that chip off, and I've just put 3 individual TBSs instead. The TBSs I use on my tiny watch and other things, which have been fine. I've been using them. They're great, and no reflow issues, and they're a small package. It also means I will now free up a spot on the pick and place machine, because those parts live on there all the time. Um, so, God, I'm waffling. This is all because I was procrastinating putting the order in because there was like $480 something worth of Pro S3 boards that I don't technically need right now because I've got enough stock, but I have no more PCBs left. So if I need to make some more, I need these new ones. And so anyway, procrastinated till Wednesday. They're being made now. I did remove the screws. I am going to do the gluing this panel to either the case directly or to little things inside so you can still take it out of the case. So the screws will come from the back. We're showing black. I've got to stop making black stuff. The screws will come from the back instead of there being nuts. And they'll screw in and this will be smooth and you won't see it. And I did some tests with super glue. So this is the foot I was no longer using. That's just super glued directly to this PCB. I didn't use any accelerator or anything. And like that's just, seriously, it's not coming off. So I don't think we'll have an issue super gluing 3D print to this panel. And because the other reason I can super glue it now is I'm not using the FPC connector anymore. I'm using my little pogo-y things, which I've got enough here for 10 touch me's, but I've just ordered enough extra ones. Unfortunately, really expensive, although I just found a cheaper source for them, but it's too late now because I've already bought 100. But there's a little surface mount. You're not going to be able to see them. The right way around. Right, so these are surface mount pogos, 6-pin. Yep, go together like that. And they're pogos, they're not magnetic because you can't get surface mount magnetic, not this small. The only surface mount magnetic you can get, that's a 4-pin, is like this. They're just way too big and they're through hole. You cannot, sorry, not surface mount. You can't get surface mount, these are through hole. Even though they're short pins, you can't get surface mount magnetic, which is really annoying. But that's okay because the screws will be holding it together. But it means that like at the moment, if I pull this apart, unscrew it, I've got the two sides attached by that FPC cable, which is an absolute pain because like they got, you know, you either got to separate them and then it's hard to get it back in again. It's just hard to work, especially like if you want to put a battery in there or whatever else. So I've got the pogos, so it's going to be much easier to pull apart, do whatever. So they're coming, but I only did prototypes again, just 5 of each, just to make sure it works. And then if it does and everything's good, I'm going to order panels and go for it. What else can I tell you? That's those. Oh, Feathers 3 Neos are out. Yay! Some of you already know. Some of you have already bought. Thank you. I appreciate the support. They work great. They really do. And this one's probably got, I've got 2 in there, and one has got. Oh, there we go. That one will work. Oh, hello. That's a 10% brightness. Anyway, and then last night I got MicroPython running on the other one, which doesn't show anything on there right now. So I need to submit that. So there'll be MicroPython ready for it. CircuitPython's already done. It's been merged. I don't know when their next release is coming out. Arduino board definition was done yesterday. They've already merged it, which was great. I don't know when that release is coming out. That'll be for the 3.0.2. Who knows if Platform IO support will ever come out for the 3 series of the Arduino core, SB32 core. That's between Platform IO and Espressif. I don't know. But at least CircuitPython, MicroPython, Arduino support for that. And I've already got PID and VID for this, which is now called RGB Touch instead of TouchMe. And I've got the domain names and everything. So I need to just knuckle down and get them done. And of course I started building, so it's a mess, like everywhere. Like I've been taking product shots here. It's a different camera, lens. I showed on Twitter, I've done my first panels. Well, it's my second panel of my TinyWatch P7. I've taken photographs of it, product photographs, because it looks different and so it needs to be changed on the thing. I need to release them on my store, but I need the cases. I want to have them pre-assembled and tested before I add the stock. And I need to update the page. There's a lot of stuff that's changed on it. And then I need to clean up the files and get them onto GitHub because it's open source. Oh, yeah, that's all happening. I think it's all the air stuff I mentioned previously. The articulated arm with valves. This is one that can actually take air and or water. You can switch, although that would be messy. And all my solenoids have turned up. I've got 12 volt, 24 volt solenoids to be able to control it. I want to see if I can control it via the controller board. So I can send a G-code command to turn on and off the air, and I'll just pump the air through my compressor, the one that I use to clean my boards, not the big one. Lots of end mills. All my end mills have turned up. Well, I think all of them. I haven't even opened it to check. So yeah, lots of stuff happening. Oh, and I got these. I mentioned these. Might have mentioned these on my stream as well. I can't remember because I've got nothing else to do with my time. Like I'm literally I'm bored out of my brains because all my projects are finished. Not I bought the 6-pin and a 4-pin. I don't understand the differences really, but I bought one of each of these encoder dials, and I might look at making a custom pendant for Milo. Something that then I'll either release if I can get it working, a design, but like both the electronics because I need the electronics done. I mean I can buy a third party one. I thought I'd ordered one, it just hasn't arrived yet. I can buy a third party, not third party, sorry, a crappy what's called a G code pendant. But they look ugly. They're a real hack to kind of get working. You have to put like I don't know, micro in between them and do whatever. And I think, no, I'm not going to do that. Um, I want to make a pendant, an ESP32 based pendant that can run either via Bluetooth, as in Bluetooth HID, because all it needs to do is send commands via G code, like send G code commands to the Milo stuff. That can happen via a wire via HID, or it can happen via Bluetooth via HID if it's running off a Raspberry Pi. Just need to pair it. And although wired makes more sense, but you know, because you can't then leave it somewhere else and then not find it because there's a cable connected. But anyway, I've got one of these each. God, they're really heavy. So I want to look at when I have some time designing a pendant. I know like Peter Homan's also working on a much more advanced pendant than that. He brought one down. He actually machined his own dials and stuff. It looks amazing. Feels really nice. But he's doing it for the higher end software stuff. In my case, um, I just want something that can spit out G code. So yeah. Anyway, I've got one of each of those. I bought a whole bunch of stuff. The stuff downstairs. Something else I haven't even started yet is Matt, pro engineer. He printed out for me. I mean, I did ask, but I was kind of Well, I wasn't kidding. I asked, but I didn't think I was going to get them because I was in the middle of printing Milo stuff and Kazaa stuff at the time. Um, he printed out a whole set of the parts for a respooler. I can't remember the name of the respooler. It's the really cool fancy one that you can get the electronics for and make it fully automatic. Um, anyway, he printed the parts out for me, which is really nice of him. And so I felt guilty. So then I sent him. Uh, so you need you need like 20 bearings with it and a bunch of other stuff and threaded nuts and whatever. So then I ordered 2 sets of bearings and 2 sets of threaded nuts. And I sent him a set of bearings and threaded nuts. Oh, and some limit switches for it. But we don't need the limit switches yet until we do the electronic side. But they're very specific limit switches. Anyway, so I sent that to him, And so we're kind of playing the back and forth, but he hasn't had a chance to build his yet, and neither have I. And I really want to, and I was going to do it on stream, but anyway, I haven't yet. And then it's just feeling kind of overwhelmed. I've got literally shit all over the floor. I've got headers all over the floor. I mentioned on my stream. So remember I discussed a little while ago. I know it was on Discord. I can't remember if I did it in a video or not. It's gonna be a long video, by the way, just so you all know. Um, about I asked questions about like what extra stuff could I put in my store, like added value stuff to the store. And one of the things I wanted to put on there were little packs of headers of like male headers, female headers, and whatever for all my different board sizes. So like 10 pin, 11 pin, 12, 16, and 17. They're all the different ones I use for my different boards. If people wanted to buy extras, or if they wanted to, for instance, put female headers on their board instead of male headers. I ship all my boards with male headers. Sure, you can buy female headers, no problem, but buying just female headers is hard or expensive or whatever, depending on what you want to get. And I make custom ones. Mine are different to what you buy online. So all of my headers, male or female, like my surface mount ones or whatever else, they're all low profile. I hate high profile headers uh, with a passion. Like there's just nothing worse than a header like that. You stick something on your board and then you stick another board in there and the stack is this tall just for two boards. It doesn't need to be. So I ordered a whole bunch of stuff and it all got delivered. And half of it's what I ordered and half of it's not what I ordered. Having a bit of fight with my supplier at the moment. And they're reluctant to replace them, even though it's not my fault. It's absolutely their fault. Whether it's their fault or their factory's fault, whatever. Excuse me. They're reluctant to replace them because they're going to be out of pocket, like 300 US dollars plus shipping. Um, but like I spend thousands and thousands, probably three or four thousand, $5,000 a year with them on headers, and like they're prepared to just throw it away. Anyway, crazy. So what happened was I also like the idea of stackable headers. I wanted low profile plastic and a custom length pin for stackable headers of all the different lengths. So people could buy normal headers if they want just female headers, or stackable so they can still put it in a breadboard. Like I used to sell with or include with my Tiny Picos when I originally did the crowd supply campaign. I used to ship 10 pin stackable headers as well as male headers with everything. The problem with them is they were really tall plastic and really long pins. They were like 12 millimeter pins. And they were just terrible. You stick them in a breadboard and it just sticks up really high. Like it was, I hated them, but that's all I could buy, right? Back then I wasn't ever looking at doing custom ones. So I ordered low profile. Unfortunately, they can't do as low. That's a 5 millimeter plastic. This is a 5.7. They can't do lower than 5.7 if it's a stackable pin. But I ordered that with a 9 millimeter pin and they shipped all of them with 11 millimeter pins. And it's not what I want. I don't want 11 millimeter pins. They're actually 11 and a half millimeters. They're only just under the 12 of the ones I didn't want. My invoice says 9 millimeter pins. I got confirmation, 9 millimeter pins. Everything was, can you do 9 millimeter pins? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Anyway, the factory stuffed up and the supplier, my person, the factory didn't check it before they sent it, and they're all wrong. And I'm really pissed because I don't want to use them. I don't want to ship people 11 millimeters, and I don't want to, like, I've got thousands of them. I don't want to cut them because you can't cut them straight. And like the ends of the pins have been chamfered, right? So they can easily go in and out. If I cut them, they're not going to go in and out of a breadboard properly. And so the supplier said, okay, the factory said, send them back to us and we'll cut them for you. And I said, no, firstly, I'm not paying to send them back. It's not my problem. You can pay to send it back. You can organize a pickup, but I don't want them cut. I want new ones made. I want them chamfered. I said, if you cut them, are they going to be chamfered at the end? No, they're not. Well, I don't want them. Like that's not what I paid for. That's not what I want. send me new ones. If you want these ones back, no problem. You pay to get them sent back to you and you can have them. I don't want them. But I do not, I won't accept cut, and you're either going to give me a refund on them all or you're going to remake them. Anyway, it's been 3 days now and they're just piss fighting around. And I'm really upset because it's a tiny thing. I was going to make no money off them. Like, putting a pack of a couple of headers for like 90 cents in there. Like it cost, they cost me, so the long ones, these are like 20 something cents each. Um, when you look at 27 cents each, no, 37 cents each. If you look at the shipping, like it was 290 US dollars just for shipping all of these headers and stuff. By the time I stick them in a bag, put a label on them, like, I'll be lucky if I make 20 cents on a pack or 10 cents on a pack. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for the, I don't know, the convenience for people, right? And I'm just annoyed because I either have to do half of the product now, half of them, and then do the other half later. Anyway, it's just frustrating that that all happened. Um, yeah. Okay, well, I've rambled enough. My point is, I've got a lot going on, uh, juggling too much stuff, as usual. I feel really guilty that I haven't done my second cut on Milo. I mean, my stock wasn't here, sure, but I could have cut it out of wood or something. I feel like I've forgotten anything that I've learned already on it. I just anyway, there's a lot of guilt that plays out with all the stuff that I do, um, and I feel like I'm just spending. Like I mean, just spend another $70 on right angle adapters so I can plug my screen and USB and everything in. Like it just keeps. Sorry, the Milo Kazaa project is just a gift that keeps on spending. But I'll get there eventually. Okay, I can't talk anymore. That's my cue to say goodbye. Thanks for being a supporter. Really appreciate it. I'll catch you all later. Bye.